Hello guys, thank you all for tuning into KrisKodez, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button because you know you want to, and it's free. Notification bell so you're notified whenever I drop new content. Comment, subscribe, and yeah, stay tuned for a juicy conversation. And if you want to see how I did this makeup look, tune in. Let's get right into the video. Oh yeah. Back with the makeup and a message. I'm kind of excited to do my makeup actually because I haven't done my makeup in quite a while. So let's really get into it. I'm gonna try and do my best on this too. So I was thinking the majority of today, not the majority, but a bit of today. And I was thinking what I was going to talk about for this makeup and a message. I'm going to talk about the things I've learned with building relationships with others. Now, you might think, oh, we don't want to hear this, but trust me, stay tuned because this is something you all are going to want to hear. This is something you all are going to want to talk about because I feel like it's a lot of unspoken things that people aren't aware of. And I mean in all relationships, and like relationships with like your significant other, with relationships with your co-workers, people in general, even if you're on an interview, things that we do unaware. Like we're unaware of the things that we do that might rub people the wrong way, that might tarnish your first impressions. And first impressions are everything, in my opinion. So you all are going to want to stay tuned and watch this video to the end. So let's get right into the topic, and I'm going to get right into this makeup. Let's go. So one of the first things I realized about, in my opinion, first things I realized about building relationships with people, or not even having to get people to like you. What I can say that, but getting people to like you for you. And this applies to introverts as well, because I am that one. I don't like to typically talk in front of large crowds or large audiences, even though I do YouTube, so that's kind of weird, but I'm just not that type of person. But when you pray to God to show me myself, you show me my issues, show me my problems, bring them to the surface so I can understand and deal with them accordingly. So these are a few things that I've learned along the way that I want to share with you all. So the first thing that I want to talk about is being self-absorbed.
Ew, get off of me.
Now, you might think, well, I want to exude confidence. I want to show people that, you know, I'm proud of who I am and I'm attractive. And you always want to appear confident in who you are. But it's one thing to look confident and it's another to appear self-absorbed. So, for example, if you're on a date and you notice that you're continuously talking about yourself, and I feel like this is one of the biggest things to me in relationships. I would do this all the time. It's different when you're in an interview and stuff like that. You're supposed to talk about yourself. You're selling yourself. But in relationships, I feel like this topic is huge because I feel like a lot of women do this and they don't realize that they're doing this. Do not, I repeat, do not spend the entire day talking about yourself. Why do we do this? Why do women do this? What's the point in going out with someone if you're going to talk about yourself the entire time? How are you going to get to know that person? How are you going to know that it's even worth a second date if the entire first date was spent talking about you? And let's move on from relationships because I don't want to only talk about relationships, because in our day-to-day lives, people do this. Do you know the people that people tend to gravitate towards, people just love to be around, are those people that just give off humbleness. Individuals that people like to be around are typically more humble They don't come off self-absorbed. They don't spend entire days talking about themselves. That's just what it boils down to. And I get it. You want to express yourself. You want people to get to know you. You want to share your accomplishments, and that's all fine and dandy. But you have to understand that some people don't want to hear that, and some people aren't in the place to hear that. And that's something I had to learn the hard way. When I'm excited about like what's to come in my life, I tend to overshare, and that's something that God brought to my attention. I will overshare. I'll talk about things like, oh, I have this coming up, I have that coming up, I'm so excited, and blah 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 blah. But all that does is come off like I feel like I'm better than people, or like I feel like I have so much going on and they don't have much going on. And a telltale sign of that you're doing this is if you're talking about yourself and the person doesn't have much to say, or they get quiet and the rest of that time they don't acknowledge you, or they don't say too much else to you, and the conversation goes cold. It's that awkward silence. Do you want to get rid of those awkward silences? Do you want to start building genuine relationships with people where they didn't know everything about you, but you don't know nothing about them? It's time to wake up and realize like what the problems are, what our issues are, and how to fix it, and how to build quality relationships with people, how to start off conversations and end conversations on a good note. Let's keep it going. Another thing I realized was your tone of voice. Your tone is so important. So much can be said with the right tone of voice. This was another real tough thing for me. When I'm at a point of no return, my tone is harsh. I'm straight to the point, cutthroat. And it takes me a long time to get to that point, but when I'm at that point, I'm there. And I don't want to sugarcoat it for you. I want to let you know right then and there. And that's not good. That's why it's okay to be honest with someone. It's okay to be truthful with that person, but you have to watch your tone. If you watch previous videos, you know that I've had a problem with friends using me, or people in general using me or taking advantage of me. Still do, in my opinion. I still do. And it's hard for me to say no. But even with that, it's a specific tone of voice that you can use to come across like I'm not trying to hurt you, and I'm not trying to dismiss you, like your issue or your problem is not important to me, but I'm also important to me, and I'm not going to inconvenience myself for whatever you have going on. So I'm sorry, and you don't even have to apologize, because you shouldn't have to apologize for taking care of yourself. But tone. Oh, can I hold $100 until next week? I'll pay you back, but you didn't pay back. They didn't pay back the last $100. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Why? You don't have to give a reason, but your tone. Now, if they take it any type of way other than how you wanted them to take it, then that's their problem. That's their issue. But if you kept a tone as if I still care for you, but I'm not a doormat, I'm not your mother. You know what I mean? Tone. In the workplace, with your friends, with your family. Tone. In relationships, when you want to set a ground rule, but you don't want to come off like that girl that's trying to control things, and so on and so forth. Tone. Have a conversation. and set the tone. And keep that tone throughout the conversation. Don't get loud. Don't get frustrated. And when you feel yourself changing tones, cut the conversation right then and there. We won't go too much deeper into that. We'll move on to the next one. I've learned when dealing with people and building relationships with people is to watch out for the sarcasm. Now, I've never been too keen on sarcasm, actually. That's just my opinion. But also, sometimes I won't even catch sarcasm, but I'll bring that up in one of the other things I want to talk about. But watch out for the sarcasm, because if you don't have the tone thing down, sarcasm just comes off rude. Not like you're trying to be funny. Not like you're making a joke. It just comes off like you're rude. And some people may disagree with this, but it does. It comes off like you're rude. You're trying to be smart. And nobody likes a smart aleck other than smart Alex. So that one's short and sweet. Watch the sarcasm. If you're going to use it with your family and friends. Or if you're going to use it with people that are aware that you're sarcastic. But when you're building relationships with people, steer clear of sarcasm, because it just makes you look rude. And nobody likes a rude person. Let's keep it going. Now, this is the second to last. I got one more topic after this. And if you notice, I'm moving fairly quickly. I am almost done with the makeup. So this one is watch your facial expressions. When you're having conversations with people, try to look them in the eye. Don't, facial expressions mean a whole lot. I've said some of the rudest things with a smile. Tone, facial expressions, all of these are one and the same. And if you think they're not, you're sadly mistaken. If you want to have more friends, if you want to build relationships with people, and you want them to see you in a light that's positive, heed these warnings. Don't look at people like you're annoyed. Don't look like you have an attitude. And have you heard the resting bee face? I know we've all heard that, especially as Black women. And if someone feels like you have that, okay, it is what it is. But when you're communicating with people, they shouldn't feel that way. Your face should exude how you are, your personality. If you're dry, okay. But if you're trying to have a cheerful, happy-go-lucky conversation with somebody, but your face is like this, what is that telling them? That's telling them that you don't want to be here. That's telling them that you're not having a good time. You have got to work on your facial expressions. And sometimes it may be hard, but it's harder to come back from an opinion that somebody has already decided to have on you. And a lot of people say, I don't care what people think of me. I don't care what people think of me. But have you ever heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know? And sometimes that is very much so true. So again, watch those facial expressions and be very, very careful on how you look at people. How your face is when you say certain things, especially if you don't have your tone together. Because you may be barking up the wrong tree, or you may be saying some things that you have no business saying. Watch out for that. Watch out for that. Let's move on to the last topic. All right, last but not least, and I feel like this is probably one of the most, if not the most important topic that we're going to discuss in this video. And that's assumptions. I feel like people, including myself, we damage what could be some of the best opportunities. We interfere with what could be doors that would have been open. And we tarnish our name over negative assumptions. Assumptions, assumptions, assumptions. So many of us assume that people are being rude or talking down to us or making a fool out of you. That you ruin what could be opportunities sent from God. What could be doors that would have never been open if it had not been for this person or that person or meeting specific circles. All because you assumed. That is the downfall of so many people. Oh, I think they meant that in a rude way. Oh, I think they're trying to make fun of me. Oh, I think they're this. Oh, I think they're that. You think? What do you mean you think? And what if they're not? Think about how this could go. Try to imagine the scenario where that could end positive. If you feel like this person was talking about you, so you came at them or tried to address the situation just to look like a fool, never assume that people are trying to make a fool out of you. Never assume that people are trying to be rude to you or attack you. Is it a possibility that they are? Yes. But what good is it for you to entertain it? How will that help you in any way? Exactly. If this is not one of the most important things we talked about today, some stuff you got to let fall off your back. Some stuff you got to leave by the wayside. Some stuff cannot have an ounce of your attention. Some people don't deserve your attention. If people are joking about you or making jokes about you, join in. Make a joke. If you're funny, laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself too serious. Because the ones that do are typically the ones that get hurt in the end. Be confident. Be courageous. Stand up for what you believe in too. But never assume anything. Let people show their own colors. From people looking from afar, if both of you all are yelling, you both look like fools. People will show their true colors. So if you do feel like somebody's making a fool out of you, give it time. Because at the end of the day, we all reap what we sow. You can't fight your own battles, because you'll never get it done like God can. Ever. So I'm going to finish my makeup off camera, and I'll be back with the final look and the final thought. Thank you guys. All right, you guys, so I'm back with my final look. I hope you all like the look. I told you all I was, trying to do a little bit more for Makeup Mondays, instead of just a generic look. I baked, all that jazz, and I'm camera ready. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the final look, and let's get into the final thought. So, finally, it's an art to this. And, it sounds like manipulation or like overthinking things, but I wouldn't call it that. And I know a thing or two I know a thing or two about manipulation. And to me, this is just the art of people. You got to know how to behave and how to act around people. Charismatic people are winners. knowing how to please the crowd or knowing how to interact with people and get people to be on your side in a way is an art. And I feel like it's a very difficult thing, especially for us introverts. So just a few teasers here and there, a few little trinkets that I've been learning over the years, I wanted to share with you all, because sometimes it's not common knowledge, and sometimes we do find days where we're overly talking about ourselves, or we're coming off rude because of things like sarcasm that we've done all through our lives, or our family does it all the time, so you don't think anything of it, but you're really tarnishing a good conversation that could have been had, or a good friendship that could have been had, just because of these small things that go unnoticed. So the next time you're having a conversation with someone, watch how much you talk about yourself. Watch about the questions that you ask, and we maybe talk about certain conversation starters, or how to keep the conversation going without having those awkward silences. Or again, watch those facial expressions. You shouldn't give off that you don't want to be there. You shouldn't have a conversation and can barely keep eye contact with people. It gives off the sense of like you're not trustworthy. It's little things like that that go a long way to people. And just by shaking the right hand or getting in the right room could open doors that you may not even imagine that you'd be in, or be in rooms that you don't think you'd be in. So sometimes things don't seem as important as you think, but sometimes they are. So, leave a comment. Let me know what you all think about this topic. Let me know what else you all want to talk about. I'm very interested to know, and I'm always down for a good conversation. So yeah, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, because you want to, and it's free. Notification bell so you're notified whenever I drop new content. Comment, subscribe, and yeah, see y'all later. Bye. Oh yeah, yeah.